Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, we're live here. This is the one and only Clark Gillies. He's managed to scare away Ron Duguay. Ron Duguay sent a message saying he had to get his nails done.
Nails done. Is that a photo shoot? A photo shoot.
Yeah, photo shoot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's not on here because I was going to ask him about that fight we had at Madison Square Garden.
Well, he won that fight.
We talked about that fight.
Whoa, wait.
He told me that he grabbed you and pulled you down.
Yeah, on top of him.
Yeah, pulled me down on top of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happened was we were both trying to get off the ice and we ran into each other between the benches, and I don't think anybody knew what happened. But yeah, I did end up on top. I'm not sure how, but
Yeah.
Mark, I got to ask you: any of your ex-teammates be out getting their nails done today?
Well, I don't think so.
What are you doing now for work?
I work at a money management firm out here in Garden City, out here on the island. I'm on the marketing side. I go out and raise money. I got registered in the business in 1990 with Smith Barney back in those days. I was in the retail side for 30 years, and then I went to work with 25 years, I guess. And I went to work with Hilton about 10 years ago. I just celebrated my 10th anniversary. So it's easy for me. I get to play a lot of golf with the customers in the summertime and take trips in the winter. So it's good. It's been a good gig for the last 10 years at least.
Good. I saw a great interview. You, I think where it was, you're talking about you playing with Eddie Hospodar in Buffalo. Had him over for dinner. Didn't your son ask you a funny question or?
No, it was my daughter. Hold on, boy. I'm going to move this a little closer. How's that, better?
There you go.
No, it's worse. We can see you better now. It's worse.
Now we can see you.
You can actually see me now.
Yeah.
I got picked up on waivers, went to Buffalo in '86, and shortly later that year, Eddie got traded there. And guys, he's staying in the hotel, and we kind of hit it off good because I was the first day he came there. I was working out at Saberland. Any of you know what that place is like? The locker room's upstairs.
Yeah.
There's a very steep metal stairway going down, and the door swings out when you leave the locker room. So I used to work out after practice. I didn't want to get up and do it the first thing in the morning. So I was all done, showered, came out, flung the door open. Eddie's standing there with his bag of equipment. I almost knocked him down the stairs.
Again? Knocked him down again?
He goes, "Oh, no, not again." I said, "Sorry, Eddie, I didn't know you were there." But anyway, so he was staying in a hotel. So I said, "You know what, Eddie? Why don't you come over to my house?" We had a couple steaks and we drank a little wine. And when dinner was over, my daughter, Brooke, who's 42 now, she was 6 then, came up to Eddie and she looked at him and she goes, "Mr. Hospodar, can I ask you a question?" He says, "Yeah, sure, honey." She goes, "Did you ever get any of your teeth knocked out?" and Eddie looked at me and he goes, "You're such an asshole." I said, "I had nothing to do with that." I said, "I didn't, we didn't rehearse this, Eddie,
Oh. That night was nasty. And you played junior at Gresh too, right?
Against me.
Against him.
Against him.
Where were you? You were in New West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we played against the Russians one game, didn't we? Or a couple games? Do you remember that?
Maybe an all-star team, yeah.
Yeah, in Edmonton.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember much, but I do remember that. Yeah.
I remember sneaking upstairs when we were getting some vodka from the Russian guys after the game.
Not me.
No, it wasn't you. It was another big guy. It was another big guy that played in Regina.
Yeah.
Another guy. Yeah. So,
I was actually Eddie's partner. We were talking about this last week when you and him, well, it wasn't you and him. It was basically you that did a little set to with him. And I always tell the story. I went to jump in and I took a look at the big bear, Clark. I go, I think I'm passing this.
Bad idea, Dave. When that happened, I was somewhere else. I don't remember actually. I don't remember any of the fight. I didn't remember any of it until I saw it on TV afterwards.
Yeah.
Next day, I'll tell you another part of that story. Frank Brown called me the next day. He was working with the Daily News at that time. And I was sitting on the couch. I think I got home from practice. I was having a beer or something. And my wife says, there's a guy named Frank Brown from the New York Daily News. And I said, oh, okay, I know what he wants to talk about. So I get on the phone. I said, hey, Frank, how are you? He said, I'm doing well. I said, what are you up to? He said, well, I just came from Lenox Hill Hospital. And I said, oh, yeah, what were you doing there? He says, I was visiting a guy that looked something like Eddie Hospital. And so I said, you know what, Frank, you can ask Eddie. I said, I warned him for 2 years I was going to kick his ass. And he just kept on doing the same shit to me all the time. So, and he says, you know, Eddie did mention that, but he didn't think it was going to be that bad when it happened.
Didn't he do something in the game before, something you got mad at?
What I remember.
He always did something to piss me off. I was,
Right.
you know, like he spear me in the back of the leg or cross check me on that bone on your arm, which you defensemen are good at finding.
Yeah.
And it would just like every time I'd get him a couple of times, he would turtle, and I said, no, Eddie, you can get up. That's not what I was talking about. And he'll admit all this stuff. We talked about it when I had him over for dinner. He says, you know, I know you were saying all those things to me, but he said, I really didn't think, like I said, I really didn't think it was going to happen that bad. So
Yeah. Well, I remember. I think he, because again, I played with him. I think the first period, because that happened down in the other end by the Zamboni, and I think he bought. He cheap shot at Bossy. Bossy, yeah, he got Mike Bossy had gone down, and Hospital hit him in the back of the helmet when he was on the ice. And I'm like, oh man, it's not going to end well. Those
were the kind of things I'm talking about.
Yeah, and
then
was
when it happened, we were down in our end of the ice,
right.
I guess
the
west end of the building,
right.
And Trotz got into trouble with something, and I went over to see what was going on. And the next thing you know, Eddie grabbed me. He grabbed me from my shoulder, and I turned around, and it was him, and I just completely bong. I lost it, and it was yeah. So I like I said, I don't even remember it happening. I do watch it on video every once in a while.
That's okay. Eddie doesn't either.
He wondered how the clock dropped on his head.
Scoreboard fell.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing with Boxcar, right? He was the nicest, quietest Christian guy until he laced him up. Like, remember when you get traded to Hartford? Remember you played in Hartford? You know,
he elbowed Jan Eriksson. Remember the elbow on Jan Eriksson?
Yeah, you know, you're like,
there's no reason for it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, no, you couldn't find it. You couldn't find a sweeter guy off the ice.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
I talked to him at Christmas time. I was looking for Dave Schultz's number. Speaking of another guy, I was looking for Schultz's number, and I called Hospodar, and we chatted. Oh shit, I was in the city. We talked for about 20 minutes, catch up and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he just
good guy.
Yeah, really. It was Jekyll and Hyde, right? You talk to him. You talk.
You know, else was like that. Dave Schultz was like that. I played old timers hockey with him, and Schultz is the funniest, nicest, calmest guy. And when we would get in the locker room, he would unzip his hockey bag and turn into this fucking monster. He would turn into this monster completely. I mean, it's like the switch went on. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. In our old timers team, we had our line. The guy that was promoting our old timers team was I think he lived out in California. Merv Bodnerchuk was the guy's name. And so he decided he was going to put together the Dave line. So you had Tiger Williams on left, you had Dave Schultz on right, and Dave Semenko at center.
Oh wow.
This was the Dave line, and he used to promote it everywhere we went. Come and see the Dave line. So we were playing in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and you had the Dave line was starting on the front line. I was playing left defense. Bobby Bourne was playing right defense, and our goalie was about 6'6". So if we were going to have a brawl, it was a pretty good time to start. So I went over. Ralph Stewart was my teammate of mine with the Islanders in the early days. He was coaching. He lived in Sudbury or in Thunder Bay, and I went over to Stewie before they dropped the puck, and I said, Stewie, I said, if you guys want to brawl, I said, we'd like to do it right now. He goes, get out of here, get back over there. These three guys, I mean, it was scary.
Yeah.
Even old timers hockey was scary for the other guys when you had those three guys up front.
Yeah.
Scary for the puck too.
Yeah. There wasn't much left of it.
Yeah. Squared that thing up.
Okay, guys, just play till the puck is gone, then we'll start blow the whistle.
How about Terry O'Reilly? You ever play any alumni games with Terry O'Reilly?
No. I saw him last summer. I was up in Prince Edward Island at a golf outing, and they had Terry came in for that. And I saw him. We've chatted a little bit since all that stuff. And I was out in the golf course, and he came riding out with one of the guys from Slapshot was there. And there was Terry and him, and they came riding out. His hips were so bad he couldn't play, but he came riding out there, and I walked over to him and I said, "Oh, Jesus, Terry, how are you?" He goes, "Oh, don't hit me." I told him, I said, last time I remember, I wasn't the only one throwing punches in those fights, but he's a fun guy too.
Yeah.
Really good.
I remember I was in my senior year of college. At that time, I thought I was the toughest guy on the planet, right? And then I'm watching you guys in the playoffs, those brawls, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what have I got myself into, you know?
This is what I got to look forward to.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it's certainly most observed that you had to get down and get after it just to kind of make your identity. I mean, as a team, right? And when you're playing the Bruins, and the Bruins are the Bruins, and
yeah. Well, that's what happened too. We had beat LA in the first round, and we went into Boston the night before the game, and like we always did, right? You'd sit there at 11 o'clock news and you'd listen to the sportscaster and see what he had to say about the game tomorrow night. And he comes on, and the news anchor said to the sports guy, he goes, "What do you think about the Bruins Islanders series?" And the guy goes, "Oh God," he said, "the Bruins will intimidate the Islanders so bad, this thing will be over in 5, and we'll be on to the next series." And I was rooming with Nystrom at that time, and he said I swear to God, he almost went through the TV to grab this guy.
Wow.
He was like,
wow.
And then he turned on me and he goes, "Clarky, that's not going to happen. God damn it!" He said, "I got Wensick, you got O'Reilly, Howie's got Cashman," and he went down the list. Gordy Lane's got somebody, and we're not going to let anything happen. Well, the first game was quiet. The first game, I think there were 2 minor penalties. We won 1-0 in overtime. The next day in the paper, the reporters were saying the Bruins didn't play their game. They didn't play physical. Tomorrow's going to be a different game. So it was a different game. There's no question about that. Yeah. I went at it with O'Reilly. I don't know, first or second shift.
Right.
And then Bobby fought Wensick later on in the game, and then I fought O'Reilly again close to the end of the first period.
Wow.
And then Nystrom and I were both in the locker room, and all of a sudden we hear this skirmish, and then trainer, somebody came running in. He said, the bench clearing brawl. And I'm like, what the hell? Nystrom wanted to go back on the ice. I basically had to tackle him before he came. I was like, you go back out there. I said, you'll be done for the playoffs. You're not going to play.
Right.
Next thing you know, the guys come walking in. Bobby Lorimer come in. He's got about a 2-inch zipper under his eye. He's like cheering loud. This is awesome. This is great. I'm like, well, you haven't looked in the mirror yet, but
but he was really laughing. He was laughing. Was he really laughing?
He was fighting with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Somehow I guess he must have got caught with an uppercut or something, and but he didn't give a shit. He was like happy as hell. Then Howie came in. Him and Cashman were on their knees punching each other.
Yeah.
Throw any more punches. And Gordy Lane came in. I don't know who he had, but he beat the hell out of somebody. And it was, like I said, it was an interesting period. Then we went out. We ended up winning that game 2-1 in overtime again. So we leave there up 2-0. We
wow.
go back home. O'Reilly and I, we got into it the first shift we played. I kind of got him that time. I was going in the corner. He dumped the puck in the corner, and he was chasing me in the corner. It was like a bull coming after me, breathing down my neck. And before I got there, I got swung my arm around, got him in a headlock, and I kind of slammed his face into the ice, and we got up, and I started throwing punches. He didn't know where they were coming from, and
Wow.
And then before the end of the first period, we fought again, and he started that one. I didn't start that one. He started that one, and you've seen him fight. I mean, he throws a million punches, right? But none of them ever. It's like he never hit me with anything. But it looked bad, and the next thing you know, I went down on one knee, and then he kneed me. He knees me, and I came over the top with a blind left hand, and I hit him, right over the top of the eye, and he was zippered really bad. Yeah. So he goes in the penalty box, and Brad Park goes over to him, and he says, "Terry, I could just kind of tell from the conversation." He goes, "Terry, I think you should go in, and you might have to see the doctor." And he didn't want to go, right? Yeah. Then he finally went in, and he got sewn up, came back out. And so now we get to the third period, and Arbor comes over to me and says, "You're not playing against O'Reilly in the third period." He said, I guess the second fight might have been in the second period. He said, "The third period, you're not playing against O'Reilly because you get another fight and you bend it for a game or two, whatever, because of what I'd had during the regular season." So I was pissed off about that, but I said, "All right, whatever you want to do." And he put Gary Howard out against him. And the first thing, before you could blink, O'Reilly was going after Howie. And I go, "Oh boy, that's a big mistake." And Howie just pounded the piss out of him.
Really?
So, oh God, merciless. He just beat the shit out of him. And so guys, when he left the building that night, I guess all the fans, used to walk down the hall, go by our locker room.
Yeah.
I guess the people were saying, "Oh my God, you should have seen O'Reilly's face." He said, "It looked like he got hit with a meat grinder." Right? So more about Terry. So now we win that game pretty easily. We're up 3-0. We got a chance to win it the next night at home. And we were winning 2-1, I think it was, with about 20 seconds to go. O'Reilly scores. And then the bastard scored again in overtime. I'm like, you'd think the guy would quit, right? Going and going and going. Long story short, we went back into Boston and we beat him 5-1 in the fifth game. So, but that was a long-winded answer to you, Dave. It was really a big turning point for our team, and I really think it was important because we played Buffalo in the next series. It went 6 games, but it was kind of like having a couple of weeks off playing them, and then we played the Flyers in the final.
Yeah,
I think there were two factors in that final when we played the Flyers, and one was our power play was the best in the league that year, so they couldn't run around and take stupid penalties because we were just going to burn them on the power play. And the other thing was that they weren't running around trying to take cheap shots at anybody because they had seen what we did against the Bruins, and it was a total team effort. We had a tough team when we needed to be. So I think those are two factors that we kind of surprised them with because they had a great regular season. I think they finished first overall that year. But winning game 6 at the Coliseum was kind of sweet because I didn't really want to go back to Philly. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
None of us ever really wanted to play in Philly, but
Yeah. Well, that being said, I mean, a lot of the memories are those, but you're a Hall of Fame player too. I mean, and we talked last week when we talked with as an opponent, we were like, we just might want to leave the big guy alone. Don't poke the bear. But those runs you guys had, 19 consecutive. To me, the 19 consecutive playoff wins is phenomenal. Yeah. It's just. That's something I don't know that'll ever happen again.
Well, I get a little annoyed, and I've made this public. I think it was John Ziegler was the president of the league at the time, and when we went into the final series against Edmonton, we got a memo that said the finals will be played in a 2-3-2 format, and we're like, "What are you talking about?" I said, for 1,000 years, it's been 2-2-1-1-1. I said, "Where did this come from?" He said, "Well, we got a memo from the Montreal office that the NHL offices in Montreal that They're changing the format to 2-3-2. And I was like, that really sucks. That's not what we need, you know.
Right.
Because Edmonton came into our building, beat us 1-0 in the first game. Kevin McClellan scored from, I think, behind the red line, hit Smitty's pad and snuck in behind him. And then the next game we beat them 6-1. They didn't even show up. And we went back to Edmonton. We were a little banged up, more than we had been in the 4 previous years. But to this day, I have been so pissed off about that format change, because Edmonton, like I said, they didn't even care about game 2 in our building. They just wanted to get us back home with a chance to win.
Right.
Now, you know, they had a year of experience after we kicked their ass in '83, but so they had something to prove, and they did. They played very well. They played real smart hockey, real steady hockey, and unfortunately, we couldn't win the 20th series. But yeah, they talk about that. I think they had the '86 Edmonton Oiler team was the best team ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I said, we won 4 cups in a row, almost won 5 in a row, won 19 straight playoff series in a row. And we're not the best team of the 80s. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
So not that we were getting any great reward for that, but it would have been kind of a proud moment to be part of a team like that. So,
Clarky, but here's the big question though: did you actually get in front of a mirror before games and practice, putting your 2 eyebrows together, making that one big eyebrow? Or
I was working on that today. I think I might have shaved them too far apart now. So
I wish you'd done that back then.
actually, the middle part's is white now, so it doesn't come in as bad. Yeah, I was working on that scowl. That's the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
I was working on the scowl. Something.
I tell the story. Carol Vadney, when he started coaching, he was really good to me. He's like a big brother, helped me with the game. And he said to me before the game one time, you know, French accent, he says, "Tommy, you go to the front of the net with that Gillies, you punch him right in the chest." So I go in front of the net with you, and I punch you in the chest, and you turn around with the one eyebrow, and you're looking at me like, "What do you want?" You know, and I'm looking back at that, like, "What the hell am I going to do now?"
Look for the bag, throw that out there.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't get a lot of comments on that scowl I'd give guys. I didn't have to fight too much after I looked at it.
Absolutely. I looked up a couple of pictures today too. You had the long hair going all over the place. It was like the Dave Semenko haircut flying all over. And
yeah, no shit. That was back in the day. Yeah, it was pretty long. Now it's long gone.
Long gone. What's Bobby Niceman doing now?
Bobby's down in Florida. He moved down. He became a Florida resident. He moved down to Boca. And they've got, he's down there full time. He's back here a lot though. He's back and forth doing some Islander games with us, and you know, still keeps his hand. He's busy. He's out in Colorado right now. He rents a house out in Colorado for 2.5 months. Him and his wife, and they bike, they hike, they climb, and he's a real workout freak. He's kind of like you, Tommy. He's got to do something every day.
I heard he's a real fitness now. Like the bike and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
hasn't he climbed? He's climbed a bunch of the world's peaks too, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. He was trying to do the 7 highest peaks.
Yeah.
And the final was going to be Everest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he climbed one that was about 18,000 feet, and there was a problem. I forget the name of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a problem, and I think he got scared. Because Everest, you can get up there, but half of them don't get back down. So
yeah, right.
That's why they made airplanes.
Yeah, helicopters. Yeah. But yeah, no, he'll be out there all summer, 2.5 months. They'll do something every day. They'll bike 100 miles. He'll do a 20-mile hike in the mountains. Just everything. He just something to test his physical ability every single day. I think he needs to put some weight on though. He only weighs about 185 pounds. But,
Are you going to buy the Coliseum? It's up for sale, I guess, eh?
Yeah, I read that yesterday. Some guy from the Newsday out here called me and wanted my opinion. I said I didn't even know about it until you texted me. But Yeah, that really blows because, these guys were supposed to play the whole season here next year.
Yeah.
And move into the new building in the following season, 21-22 season. And there might be a chance that I guess the Russian guy that owned the Nets or whatever, he bought the rights to manage the building, and he's been losing money ever since. So they're trying to find somebody to go in there and take over the management side of it, and maybe the Islanders will still get to play there. I don't know. We got a couple of months to work on, but yeah, it's too bad. Now they got to go back to the Barclays Center, and I don't think the players are too fond of that place because every day is like a road trip. I mean, I kind of compared it to you guys. I mean, a lot of you guys, you live up in Rye or wherever up in that area, and you commute into the Garden every time. But with these guys, it was such a change for them.
Right.
They weren't used to doing that. They'd have to leave their houses at 2:00 in the afternoon to get into Brooklyn. Most of the time you have to take a train because you never know what traffic would be like. You'd sit in the traffic for 3 hours. So it was a real pain in the ass. I think in the beginning they were going and staying in a hotel in Brooklyn and skating in the morning, going back and sleeping in the hotel and going home at night. So it was not what they were used to. And they were so much more comfortable at the Coliseum when they came back there. And the fans.
We did that back. We did that. We stayed at the hotel across the street from the Garden.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but it was. I mean, I lived in the city, so I didn't really care. But the guys from up here all stay there.
Yeah.
At the hotel, like the South was called the Southgate back then, Dave, or something.
Yeah, Southgate. Well, that's when we practiced in Long Beach. We were always in the city on game day. You'd go in.
When did you practice? When you first came to the Rangers, you were still practicing in Long Beach?
Yeah.
74 to 78.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I thought that probably had something to do with, you guys, any town, like when I got traded to Buffalo too. And I remember when I got to Buffalo, they said, well, how far is the auditorium? And like 10 minutes. How far is the practice rink? 10 minutes. Okay. How far is the airport? 10 minutes. You're like, 10 minutes. After being around New York, when we had to go in and out of the city, we did. But it was hard. It was hard to create that thing that you had to you need. I don't know how I felt. Not you guys or anybody that could.
I was in Buffalo for 3 years. I don't think I was in a single traffic jam. I just you get in your car, and next thing you know, you're at the Odd or you're at Saberland.
Right. So did you play for Scotty? No, Scotty wasn't there. Was Scotty still there?
Scotty was there. Oh, this is a great story. You guys, and you'll be able to talk about this as well. So the reason I went there, Tori told me, he gave me that speech, right, in 86, we're going in a different direction and you're not going with us, And, so he said, I said, I understand, Bill, whatever. I'm a little annoyed, but I understand the business stuff. He said, where do you want to go? And I'll try and get you there. So I said, I don't want to go far. I said, I'm not even sure I want to go, but I had to go because I had the two biggest paydays of my contract. The last 2 years of my contract were the two biggest years I had. So I said, I got to go someplace. And Scotty was the coach in Buffalo. And I'd had success with Scotty, Challenge Cup at the Garden in 79 and then King Canada in 81. So we kind of knew each other. I think he liked me a lot. So anyways, Bill talked to him and they took me in a waiver draft. So things are fine. I got there. It was like you said, there was a golf course out in Clarence there. There were condos on the golf course. I lived in a condo for $350 a month. It was a 2-bedroom condo on the golf course. I was like, really?
5 of them.
So anyway, Scotty's there. About 2 months after the season started, Scotty got fired. I said, oh, this is nice. Who's taking over for him? He said, Craig Ramsey. I said, all right, I like Rammer. I think Rammer was the assistant coach then, so. Well, Rammer lasted, he lasted about 2.5 months, I guess. And next thing you know, I go in and Rip Semenuk says, they fired Rammer. I go, oh, this is great. I had one coach for 12 years. Now I got 3 in 3 months. So I said, who did they hire? And he goes, Ted Sater.
Oh God.
Oh, boy. Because Wolf Paymont, who went up there the same time I did, I said to him, I said, Wolf, you guys, what is the deal with Sater? How come everybody hates the guy? He goes, is he just an asshole or what's the deal? He goes, Clarky, I'm telling you, if that guy ever coach you, you want to kill him. You want to kill the guy. So I go, oh, wow, okay. So I'm sitting at the odd. We were practicing at the odd that morning. And Wilfie and I happened to sit next to each other. So he comes walking in, he's whistling, having a good day. And I said, Wilfie, Rammer got fired. Come on, Clarky, you can't be kidding me. I said, no. I said, he got fired. He said, who'd they hire? I said, Ted Sater. I swear to God, the blood ran out of his face. He's like, you will find out what I was talking about now. It's like, all right, so anyway, long story short, had him for the rest of that year. The following year, we didn't make the playoffs. My first year I was there. The next year we make the playoffs. We're playing the Bruins, and they're a much better team than we are. So anyways, we're putting up whatever fight we can, and we played game 4 in Boston, and I was coming off a knee injury, and I was I don't know, about half, 3/4 of what I could have been, and but I was fighting Brendan Byers all the time. Sater kept putting me out against Brendan Byers, and O'Reilly was coaching the Bruins, and he kept putting Byers with me, and Byers is going, we're going, right? We're going. I know what's going on, you asshole. I know we're going, so I'm having fighting this moron. And so in game 4 in Boston, I go out for my first shift. I don't know. That was a decent shift. I don't really remember, but get ready for my next shift. And Sater goes, just stay there. So I figured, well, I'm going to try something out, or different strategy, whatever. I'm going to go out with a different line. Well, I don't get on the ice the rest of the first period, the second period, all of the third period till 20 seconds left in the game. O'Reilly puts Brendan Byers on the ice, and Sater comes down to me at the end of the bench where I've basically been taking a nap for the last 2 hours. And he taps me on it. He goes, get out there against Byers. Well, I turned around and I looked at him, and I was going to get up and punch him in the face right then. Yeah. But I went on the ice, and Byers is like, the same routine. Yeah, we're going, we're going. I go, okay, we're going. It was a stupid wrestling match. Went down on the ice. I was embarrassed. I skated off the ice. I looked at O'Reilly, and I was like, what? Yeah. I said, I don't need this. I don't need this shit, right? So I go to the locker room. I'm. You think I was mad when I had that fight with Eddie Hospital? You should have seen me now. I was so mad. And where you had to walk through that little door to get to the back dressing room at the Garden there? I was sitting in the last seat, and Ted Sater came by, and he tapped me on the pads, and he goes, way to go. Oh, I grabbed him before he got through the door. I grabbed him by the back of the neck. I brought him, I think one of the guys said, I think I had him up in the air, off the ground. I said, you mother, I said, you ever look at me, talk to me, touch me again, I will kill you. Do you understand?
You said this to Sater?
Sater, yeah. I got him like this. I got him right in my face. And I said, you ever look at me, talk to me, touch me, anything again, I will kill you. Do you understand? And I threw him through the door onto the floor. And so the guys were like, oh, holy shit. And I was still so pissed, right? So we go to the airport that night, catch the plane back to Buffalo, and he was sitting over there all by himself. Excuse me. He was sitting there by himself, and I said, you know what? I went over and I sat down next to him, and I said, Ted, I want to apologize for what happened in the locker room after the game.
I said, that was uncalled for. But the reason I did it is because of the way you treated me on the ice. I said, I played 14 years in this league. I got 4 Stanley Cups. I have tried to give it everything I have, and you embarrassed the shit out of me right there. I said, you sat me on that bench for 2.5 periods, and when that moron goes on the ice, you send me out there after him? I go, I didn't deserve that. And so he apologized, right? So everything's fine. So the next day we go back and we had a practice, and I sat with him for about 2 hours, and we talked, some strategy and this and that and the other thing. And I left there, we shook hands, and then I thought everything was fine. I go down to Saberland the next day for the pregame skate. And after the skate, the trainer comes over to me and he goes, Ted wants to talk to you. I thought we'd pretty much said what we have to say, right? I went in there and he goes, you're not dressing tonight. He goes, I'm going to go with more speed. So he was dressing this one game. The guy that replaced me was about 5'3", and he was so scared when they told him he was playing. It was like, I said, so this is your idea of how you're going to beat the Bruins, okay? All right. And I got up and I left, and coincidentally, we lost about 5-1, something like that. They just skated rough shot over the whole team. And the next day I went down to get my stuff out of my locker and everything, as you usually do when you're done. And I was looking for Sater because I was going to hospital him. I really was. and he didn't show up. He's such a coward. He didn't show up.
Oh,
he didn't come down, and I haven't seen him since. And I'm not sure I really want to see him anymore.
yeah. It's glad to see that you're over it. That's good.
I'm not over it.
No,
I'm not over it.
no, why would you? No, I was just kidding. Honestly, why would you be?
No.
Well,
When
you
you
seem
come
like
to
you're okay with
Saskatchewan,
What's that?
Saskatchewan, you never get over it.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'll never get over that 2-3-2 deal, and I'll never get over Ted Sater. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I feel the same way about him.
Talk about him.
So Mike Hartman wants to know who your favorite roommate was in Buffalo.
Well, it would have to be Mike Hartman, of course. I'll tell you what. If Mike's listening, I really enjoyed playing with you in Buffalo because you and what was we had this big tough Irish kid. What the hell was his name? Well, between him and Mike Hartman, I didn't have to fight anybody because I probably weren't too many games that Mike didn't fight somebody. And the good news was every time we played the Bruins, he fought
Byers.
Not Byers. He owns a bar in Cape Cod. What the hell is his name? Jay Miller.
Oh, Jay
Miller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, you got a great Scotty Bowman story, don't you, from Buffalo?
Yeah. Which one?
Well, the one where he ended up on the floor behind the bench there.
Yeah. We were in Quebec, right? And I was getting toward, it turned out to be the end. I figured I was done. We're in the playoffs, and he took like the third too many men in the ice penalty, like the second period. And I don't know if you remember in Quebec, there wasn't a whole lot of room on the bench, and there wasn't a lot of room behind the bench. And I look over, and Scotty's down on all four. Going, I can't believe it. Scotty's like, and he had the chin kind of, I can't believe it. You guys are idiots, drop. Yep. And I turned to Shoney was on my left, and Brent Peterson was on my right. And I said, What is that all about? That's just Scotty being Scotty. And I said, I'm telling you right now, I'm done. This is it. I'm finished. I can't. I remember he had that spiral staircase that came down the middle of the locker room, right?
Yeah.
So we had a pretty good team. That was 84, 83, 84, 85.
Yeah.
Pretty good team. We were right in the hunt for, at that time, Stroh's Beer gave that a bonus, $200,000 bonus for goals again, something like that. And anyway, so we're right in the hunt for that. We're in the hunt for a better seed in the playoffs, playing Montreal at home, and we get smoked, right? Don't get the goals against thing, get the worst seeding. We're going to open on the road now against Quebec. So the next day, I remember from Fergie. I remember Fergie Gresh. Like when the playoffs started, it was a whole. Everybody has a chance. Wipe the slate clean. It's springtime now. Now you're going to play. So there were 5 or 6 of us. Came early. We got our gear on. We're out screwing around on the ice, and we get from Rick, the trainer. Scotty wants you in the room in your civvies. Okay, so you take off the gear, put on your clothes. You wait for 40 minutes. And he comes down the staircase like Winston Churchill, right? And then he said, "We're not skating today. You guys blew the season. That's it." Walked away. And I'm like, oh, my God. That was it. I was done. So I went from Herbie, or like I said, I went from Herbie to Scotty. Well, I've learned after the fact. Like I thought they were both idiots, right? And I figured the one guy has like 12 Stanley Cups, and the other guy has maybe the greatest victory in USA hockey. And I said, well, maybe I'm an idiot. I'm done. But they were, Scotty was. I love Buffalo though. I really liked it. I like Buffalo.
Oh, it's a great town. I cried when I got off the plane on my way over to Saberland. I didn't even know if I would go in the doors, but I did. Right. I love the place. It was. Right. We lost 8 games in a row the first year I was there. Mm-hmm. First 8 games of the season we lost. I went to get a coffee at the little Stop and Shop 7-Eleven on the way to practice, and walked in, and the girl looked at me and she goes, "Aren't you one of the guys that plays on the Sabres?" And I'm like, "Yeah." What's she gonna say, right? We lost 8 in a row. She goes, "I'll tell you what, you guys keep trying, boy. You're gonna win one eventually." I go, if that was in New York. If that was in New York, they would have locked the door when they saw me coming, for Christ's sake. Yeah. It was awesome.
New York was a bit different. I remember I got a ticket one time years ago when there were Dave and Donnie Murdoch and Dave Ferris. You all had Corvettes, and we were racing back to Long Beach. The last guy there had to buy the drinks, right, at the digs. So I go through the toll booth. The cops there. I get pulled over. All these guys are going by, so I ended up last. And he gave me a ticket for a 10-cent toll.
Really?
Yeah.
10 cents. Yeah.
And that was the year we weren't doing very well.
Yeah.
And so I go into court in Inwood, right over there by in court, and I'm with Paul Moran. Remember?
Yeah, Mouse. Yeah.
Mouse. And so with this cop from Long Beach, or Nassau County cop. So they call my name, so I get up to the front, and the guy goes, license. So I give him my license. He goes, "It's a Canadian license." I go, "Yeah, I'm getting it changed over now because I just got everything straightened out." He goes, "Get it straightened out." He goes, "I'm not sure." He goes, "What I should do with you?" And the guy in the back hollers, "The way they're effing playing, give him 20 years." Back in the court. I'm like, at least it wasn't life. You're talking about 3 coaches in 1 year?
Yeah.
I had 13 and 16.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, it was great with Arbor. You knew what you're going to get every day, but oh boy. You're right about Scotty though. He was a strange bird.
Oh.
It wasn't bad when you're in certain situations. You play an All-Star, you play in a Canada Cup, you got the best of the best. So there's not much that he has to do. But when he was coaching the team, he said something to Gilbert Perreault that I'll never forget. Gilbert was Gilbert was probably, he started in 72, so he was probably in his 16th season. Right. And he wasn't sure if he was going to come back, and he gave it another shot, right? So a couple of months in, Scotty got all the guys around, right? And in front of everyone, he said to Gilbert, he goes, what are you doing? He goes, "If this is what you're going to do in your last year, you might as well not have come back." He said, "You're terrible. What are you doing?" And Gilbert just went like that. "See ya, I'm done." Sure. And he quit a couple of days later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he
used to say some things to guys that I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Clark, you talk about Ted Sater. Gresh and I were involved in the story. Gresh and I and Bob Brook were captains at the time. And we played a game, I think it was in Pittsburgh, and we lost, and we were due to have a day off the next day. So he gets on the bus right outside the rink. He says, "Okay, the day off is canceled. I want everybody to ride Playland for practice." So we all go there, get dressed, skate around a little bit, warm up. He lines all the other guys up on the end line, and he has Gresh, myself, and Bob Brooks step out, and he starts to skate us. He says, "Okay, you guys weren't hitting enough last night. 3 captains down and back. You guys weren't passing the puck enough last night. 3 captains down and back." This goes on for about 45 minutes. He's skating us. Now the theory is he thinks and he feels like he's gonna make the other guys feel guilty because we're skating.
Yeah, they were guilty, all right.
Yeah, they doesn't realize they're laughing. And we had a bunch of, I think it was Ramo Hellman, and really nice kid, comes to me after. He goes, "Tommy, why only you 3 skate?" So the whole concept, he's going to make everybody else feel guilty. He's like, "Guys are dying laughing. It's hilarious." It was funny.
What's his name from Bowman when that 79 Challenge Cup? I was like an extra there, like whatever. So we were up by, I think it was a 9W at that practice rink we had, Dave.
Yeah.
He was out there skating, right?
Right.
And all the guys that were playing in the game. So all the guys that were playing in the game Friday night, they all leave, like morning skate or whatever it was, they go. So Scotty comes on the ice. He goes, there was like 8 of us, 9 of us extra guys. He goes, "Okay, guys, he's going to skate you guys for half an hour." I look at him, I go, "What?" He goes, he's gonna skate you guys for like a half an hour. I go, "Okay." So Scotty's skating off, and I'm skating off behind him. He goes, "Where are you going?" I go, I don't want to skate for half an hour." He goes, "You're not playing. You're never going to play then." I go, "I wasn't going to play anyway." Who are you going to pull Robinson out? So I went off. And that was it.
Yeah.
Scotty never got along. He used to holler at me all the time on the ice, and I said some bad things about him because he had problems, but leave that alone.
Get the metal plate in his head, yeah.
Yeah.
We played that Canada Cup. We were playing in Winnipeg. We were playing exhibition games before the round robin started, and we were playing the Swedes. And he went through this whole pregame talk about the Czechs. And as he's going through it, I was like, does he know that we're not playing the Czechs tonight? and then when it was all done, he said, but that doesn't matter. We're playing the Swedes tonight. Let's go. And I looked at Larry Robinson and I said to Larry, I said, "What was that?" And it's just like you said. He said, "That's Scotty."
Yeah.
He probably realized halfway through that, oh shit, we're playing the Swedes tonight. He didn't let it on, and he just changed it. Never mind, we're playing the Swedes tonight. Go get them.
Go get them. Right.
So,
Well, I remember. Yeah,
my guys. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Go ahead.
I remember a few guys that were playing in that Challenge Cup. They wanted to go to Studio 54 after the first game, and after the second game, didn't play well in the third game. So I had a little bit to do with that.
You remember that? You remember the first game? We beat the crap out of them physically. Bubba raked a couple of guys down the boards. It was like they were rolling pins. He just dragged them all the way down the board. I hit one of these little Russian guys going through the middle, and I purposely tried to hit him with the best elbow I ever gave. And I rocked him big time. And we did this all night, right? All night long we did this, and we beat him. Then the next game, same group of players on their team, same group of players on our team. We went out. We couldn't catch them. You couldn't. They was like they set us up. Okay, you big goofs, you can do whatever you want to it tonight, but you're not going to be doing that the next night. And they beat us 4-2. Like we weren't even there. I mean, the game wasn't that close. That's how bad they beat us.
Yeah.
And then game 3, Dryden got hurt. So they put in Jerry Cheevers, or I think it was Tony Esposito or Jerry Cheevers, and neither one of them wanted to play. I think we got beat like 6-2.
Yeah,
I think it was 6-0, but I won't say anything.
Yeah, it could have been 6-0.
It was that was scary after the first game.
And then how crazy is that? You talk about the biggest victory in the history of hockey. This same team that beat the shit out of us goes to Lake Placid, and a bunch of college players beat them, and then went on to win the gold medal. So hockey's a strange game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they beat them, but they did.
There were some good players in that 80 team.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of them came to Kenny Morrow. I mean, we got Kenny Morrow. I was watching the game. I'm watching the game, and I said, "Oh, I wonder who we got." I know we drafted somebody from this team, and it was Kenny Morrow. And I'm watching him. I said, "Is that the best we could do?" I said, because he's like this big, slow defenseman, right? That never really did much, and he comes to our team, and I had to eat my words because he turned out to be one of the best defensemen I've ever played with or against. I mean, Kenny was amazing. He was amazing. So they drafted him more. I guess they drafted him more for his defensive work than the offensive part of the game.
Gresh,
I hated playing against him.
Gresh, who was on the phone, Gresh?
That was your ex-roommate.
Oh, Coffee.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you tell him we're in the middle of a TV show?
Yeah.
I know I didn't pick it up because I'm,
But you should have picked it up. Call him back. Come on. Go on.
You can't support on the show. No, he's fine. Kotze's fine. But anyway.
All right. Good.
But yeah, there was like there was when we played you guys in '79.
Yeah.
That was a great series. We won, but
yeah.
It was you guys end up trading 2 guys the next year, and we beat you, and we trade 8 guys.
Yeah, and Freddie's gone shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Which way does management go in the world? You know?
Yeah. Well, that was a great series. I got to give credit to JD. He was probably one of the great goaltending performances ever during that series. He played awesome. But yeah, that's all part of it. I was thinking about things to talk about, and I always talk about we're all former players, and everything's water under the bridge. I mean, we might have done some stupid things to each other when we were playing, but I always get a kick out of the fans, right? They always go, did you hate those guys when you played against them? I go, I didn't hate them. I said, I knew a few of them. They're pretty nice guys, just like we are. They go, oh, they suck. Those Rangers suck. You got to hate those guys. I said,
well, a couple of guys from Philly you have to hate.
A couple of guys from Philly I didn't really like. Yeah.
They were always, I mean, when you guys beat them in '80, not that I wanted to cheer for you guys because I dislike you guys too, but I would rather have seen you guys win than Philly win.
Right.
I hated that team more than that team was just, they were all cheap shots.
No, they were not fun to play against. I had to play against Holmgren most of the time.
Yeah.
And he had Kenny the Rat was playing with him, right? So
right.
I told Linsman one time, because he's notorious for running out, spearing guys in the back of the leg, chopping you on the ankles and stuff. Yeah. And I said, listen to me, you little bastard. I said, if you do any of that stuff to me, I said, Paul Holmgren won't get here in time. Okay. He goes, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. I go, well, just be warned, okay? Because he will not get here in time to save you.
You know what? To your point, Clark. When I get traded, I remember I get traded to Buffalo, right? And you play against guys, and in those days, not like today, where guys train together. Everybody knows everybody now.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, playing against guys, that guy's an idiot. What a jackass that guy is. And then you get there, and they're just the greatest guy. They're hockey. We're all just all hockey players, right? We're just trying to do what we got to do.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I'm sure if I got traded to the Rangers, I would have loved all you guys. I was the first day, like I said, my first day with the Sabres. I don't know anybody. I know them all because I played against them. But every team's got their characters, and everybody's doing the practical jokes, and some guys doing this, some guys doing that. So I got there late for practice, so I skated a little bit extra after practice. So I come in, and we're leaving that afternoon to go to Winnipeg. I go, this is nice. I get into town. I'm on the road already. So I skated a little bit. I came up, I showered. I went to put my pants on, and I'm still, there's a couple guys in the room. I go to put my pants on, and I'm pissed off anyway, and I'm just not in a good mood. And my zipper, the tab on the zipper's bent down, and I can't get it up, right? Well,
That's what happens when you get old.
Well, listen, I tried, and the more I tried, the more pissed off I got. I was going to take another pair of pants out of my suitcase. I was so pissed off. And I look up, I look up, and Lindy Ruff,
Larry Playfair,
Mike Ramsey are sitting over there crying, laughing. They had sewn my zipper down so you couldn't get it up no matter what you tried. Well, I mean, I cracked up laughing, and that was kind of like, okay, these are the two guys I want to hang with because they're just like me, So
they're great. Lindy Ruff, Mike Ramsey, same deal. Larry Playfair was a good dude. They're all Playfair and Ruff were that kind of characters, right? You play against them, and they were doing what they had to do, and you get. It was really a really good thing. I thought, you know what, we're all just trying to do the same thing.
I played with Larry in LA, and the same thing. Our first trip back to New York, he knew I was excited to get back to New York. And the morning skate leaving the Garden, he had gone and sewn my pocket, the inside pocket together, so I couldn't reach my money. Now I don't know this at all, right? Because I've got no reason to put my hand in my pocket. I leave the rink, I get in the cab to go back to the hotel. Obviously, the cab driver doesn't speak English. Right? Now I try to reach in to grab my money. I can't get my money. I'm trying to explain to him my pocket's sewn together, and he thinks I'm trying to rip him off. So I'm trying to get the money out. Larry was good too. Like Larry had spent a lot of time on practical jokes. He was good.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The ketchup in the shoes and
I've been during this whole pandemic quarantine thing. I've been texting back and forth with Lindy and Scott Arneal.
Oh, two good dudes.
Yeah.
Really good. Scott Arneal's a great guy.
Yeah, Arnie was my roommate in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Arnie and Tommy Curvers. So we've been catching up a little bit and sending some stories back and forth. But those are three good guys. I had Curvers. Curvers came to Buffalo, and Gresh, you want to answer that?
Yeah, get it, Gresh.
Who's there?
That's my phone over in the back over there. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
So Tommy comes and he doesn't have a place to stay. And I said, I got a 2-bedroom condo. I said, you can have one of the rooms at my place. And he goes, well, how much does it cost? How much? I said, it costs $350 a month. I don't want your money. Just come and, I need to have somebody to hang around with, or else I'm going to fall asleep with a bottle of rum again tonight. So he comes over and he says, well, I want to give you something, for the room. I said, well, I don't know. He says, well, I was thinking of buying a new TV and a stereo. I said, oh, great. Let's go pick one up. So we went down and bought the biggest, finest TV they had, the stereo speakers and stuff. I said, that's plenty of payment. I didn't know. Now I got something to listen to, but they couldn't believe it. Yeah. Tommy Curvers was a fun guy, fun team.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Didn't he play in the? Where did he play? Where else did he play? He played the Devils, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went there after Buffalo, Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal.
Buffalo, the Devils.
Yeah.
Nice guy, Arneal. Arnie was wearing number 9 when I went to Buffalo. Arnie was wearing number 9, right? And the trainer said, "What number do you want to wear?" And I go, "Well, I'd like to get 9 if I can." He said, "Well, Scott Arneal's wearing number 9," and I said, I don't want to be a prick. So I said, I don't know, give me 39, 29. How about 19? No. I said, well, give me 39. I don't give a shit at this point. So he gives me number 39. In the first game we played against Montreal, Larry Robinson comes up next to me at the face-off circle. He said, is that your number, or is that how old you are?
He's a funny man.
Oh, God. So anyway, I later on, this is after the fact, I talking to Arnie, and I said, he said, why didn't you take number 9? I said, well, I didn't want to be a prick and take your number. He said, that's the number they gave me. I wore 11 in Winnipeg. I was going, shit, now you tell me. He would have gladly gave it to me to wear in Buffalo too.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Scott Arneal's a good dude.
Yeah, Berkey, it's been great to have you here. I'm glad to see your eyebrow has gotten white in the middle there. It doesn't scare people anymore. So.
Well,
I wish you looked like that back when you played.
it's about the only part of my eyebrows are still a little bit brown. Every other part of my head is gray now. So.
Same here.
You ever
Let's
get
go.
back to,
It
get
doesn't go
back
well.
to Moose Jaw?
I haven't been back in a while now. I had surgery a couple of years ago. I had some stomach problems, but then I didn't go back that summer, and then I didn't get back last year. And with this thing now, I was supposed to be up there doing a couple of banquets and stuff in the spring. Excuse me, but they canceled it because of the COVID stuff. So
I took my kids. Took all my kids out to their grandmother lives in Regina.
Oh yeah.
So I take them out there, and we're driving around, and we went some back road somewhere towards out from west, or east, west, out of Regina towards Swift Current and Moose Jaw. And there was a gravel road, so we turned around and we're driving on this gravel road, and they couldn't figure out what the gravel road was. What's the road? How did this road get like this?
Shouldn't they repave this? Shouldn't they repave this road? It's awfully rough.
So we get out of the car. I got a picture of them standing on the road, and they're looking at it like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
They couldn't figure out a gravel road.
Yeah, that was So I my brother just turned 70 this year, so I had invited him down for his 70th birthday to play my golf outing in August, and he's had a couple of quadruple bypasses, so he's probably not a good idea for him to get on an airplane or anything like that. But
No.
yeah, so we'll have him. I'll probably end up doing it next year, have him down. But yeah, this whole thing is this quarantining, and the only safe place is on the golf course, 6 feet apart. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part for the COVID.
There you go. Keeping us all healthy. Good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed this, boys.
All right, Clark,
Okay.
thanks, man.
That was fun.
It was great.
Guys,
Keep up the good
take
work.
care.
All right.
Stay well.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.